I want to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, who is here from recent appearances on Good Morning America and the Today Show. Of course, you know who I'm talking about, Rip Esselstyn. Rip's father is Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Esselstyn. Many of you know Essie, as we like to call him. He put together the longest-running study on preventing and reversing heart disease through diet. He's spoken at this event just, I think, every other year except this year. But my point is, Rip knows a thing or two about preventing heart attacks and saving lives. It's kind of a family thing. And you're always reading about these steroid scandals, professional athletes that are out there and they get busted for taking these drugs. Well, Rip, as a professional athlete, he has been a professional triathlete for 10 years, and before that he was an All-American swimmer at the University of Texas. And he's got his own secret weapon as an athlete that doesn't require illegal prescriptions or shady doctors or anything. He calls it the produce section. And a few years ago, Rip became a firefighter, and he joined the Engine 2 department in Texas, in Austin, Texas. And when he got there, he was astounded to learn how high the cholesterol levels were of his fellow Engine 2 firemen. So what would any self-respecting Esselstyn do? Of course, he challenged them to a 28-day diet change. And what happened was their weight dropped, their cholesterol plummeted, their energy climbed, they became followers, and the Engine 2 diet was born. So, ladies and gentlemen, he can pull you out of a burning building, and he can pull you out of a deadly refrigerator. Please welcome Rip Esselstyn.
Are we on? Yes, we are. So, hey, before I get started, we were talking at my dinner table. We actually have somebody, and I don't mean to put anybody in the spot here, but I'm going to. We have somebody that actually looks more like Jeff Novick than Jeff. So, if we could have Jeff and Jeff's counterpart come up, please. We're good to go. All right. So I'd feel a little remiss if I didn't impart a little bit of fire safety on everybody. So who can tell me what this is? Smoke alarm, exactly. Smoke detector. So let me see a show of hands. How many people in the audience have working smoke detectors in their home? All right. It looks like just about everybody. And how do you know that you have working smoke detectors? You push the button, right? And you should get a noise like this. If it works. There we go, right? Now, how often do we want to do that? Well, no, actually we want to do that once a month. We want to change the batteries twice a year. Okay, spring and fall with the change in time. Now, if that seems like a bit of a hassle and you don't want to, go through all those troubles, you can also get what I like to call the redneck smoke detector. Okay? It installs very simply. All you need is a hammer and a nail. You never have to play with it, but as a firefighter, I have to warn you that once that Jiffy Pop popcorn starts popping, it might be a little too late to get out of the house. And I would submit to you that the standard American diet that 99% of Americans eat is no more effective at protecting you from chronic Western disease than this redneck smoke detector is at protecting you from smoke and fire. All right. Who can tell me who this is? Who is this? No. Thank you. It's Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill is one of my heroes, and he has a quote that I love, and it goes, "Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have." And I would once again submit to you that what could be our greatest asset as a country has become our greatest liability, with close to 70% of Americans overweight, close to 50% of Americans dying of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes becoming almost a pandemic, and the list goes on and on. We are a country that needs some help, and we can turn it around and have what is right now our greatest liability become an asset. Who here, let me see a show of hands again. I want you to know right now, I'm going to ask for a lot of audience involvement, okay? So, yeah, cool. So, who here believes that happiness is a choice? Can I see a show of hands? All right, just about everybody. How about who here believes that health is a choice? Oh, this is a good audience. This is great. I believe it is too. In 1997, after being a professional triathlete for almost 11 years, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I wanted to do something that had a lot of action, gave me an adrenaline rush, and firefighting kind of fell in my lap. It answered everything I wanted. I got to help people save lives, and basically it's like a big slumber party every third day with the guys, and we go out and we do good deeds, usually anywhere between 5 to 15 in a 24-hour period. And this is typically what it's like to go code 3 to a fire or a medical call. And that's me driving. Kind of honk the horn before the light. There's the English siren to kind of get us going. And I look both ways before going through that red light. And so you can imagine weaving through traffic, going through red lights, blowing through stop signs. It's pretty exciting stuff. And I thought that every shift I'd be going to these crazy burners like this one. But the reality is that fires like this actually account for about 10% of our call volume. Another 10% are car accidents, alarm activations, and spills. And believe it or not, close to 80% of our calls, we are responding as emergency first responders to the crazy amount of Western disease that's running rampant right now in America. Whether it's heart disease, diabetes, obesity, we see it every shift again and again and again. And it gets really old thumping on somebody's chest, trying to save them. When somebody's frothing at the mouth because their blood sugar level has gotten too low. And I just want to, grab them and shake them and say, hey, there's a better way. And this is Fire Station 2, the House of Health. And this is located at 506 West MLK, right near the University of Texas campus. And we have a lot of fun at this station when we're not making fires, when we're not making medical calls. And one of the main reasons is because we have a fire pole. We have a 25-foot galvanized fire pole, and we have all kinds of competitions. We see who can climb the pole the fastest with their legs in the V position. We see who can go down upside down head first. We see who can go down and do the most 360s before they hit the ground. And then we also do crazy childish stuff like who can drink a gallon of water in 10 minutes and then not vomit within an hour. Who can walk across the room, the truck room bay on their hands the farthest, stuff like that. And one night when we were sitting out on the porch, let's see if you can see it here. See this little porch right there? We were sitting out on the porch, and we had a little bar bet to see who had the lowest cholesterol level. And I can tell you who had the highest cholesterol. And that was my buddy, J.R. James Ray. And J.R., at the age of 33, came back with a cholesterol of 344. And this was pretty scary because J.R., there was no male on the father's side of the family tree that had lived past the age of 52. It also succumbed to heart disease. J.R. was also, and I say this with all affection, J.R. was a third-generation redneck. And so he loved stuff that was fried and, had a face. And also the number one killer of firefighters is not smoke inhalation, it's not fire, and it's also not car accidents. It just happens to be heart attacks on the job. So JR had a couple things working against him. So literally, the next shift, we started talking about what we were going to do. And luckily, I was armed with some pretty powerful ammunition, and I also had a couple factors working in my favor. The first, of course, being that these guys had heard it till they were blue in the face about my dad and his studies, right? And they'd even met my dad. My dad had been to the fire station, had eaten a meal with these guys, and they, knew about my dad. At this point, my dad was writing the book. It hadn't come out. This came out in 2007. But my plant strong dad. And then, as I'm sure you guys know, he has some of the most powerful angiographic evidence on the planet to show that you can reverse heart disease. Not only halt it, but also reverse it. And here you have the left anterior descending artery. This is the before. It's kind of gunked up through here. And here's the after, where you can see it's pretty much as clean as a whistle. And this is in 2.5 years, and the only course of treatment was plant-based nutrition. And then, of course, these guys knew all too well about me and that I used plant-based nutrition to give me the edge as a professional athlete. And then they also knew that as a firefighter, I had just about every record. We have 1,000 firefighters in Austin, Texas, and I held just about every record, every physical agility record, the treadmill stress test record for the longest, at the incline. And so these guys knew that you could eat this way, and instead of being a shrinking violet, you could be a blossoming lotus. And then, they also knew that you could eat this way and you could be very, very virile. And this is my 2.5-month-old Cole, and this is my 6-month-old Sophie. And then the other thing, one of the things about being a firefighter is the team of guys at the fire station is my second family. And we also knew that in order to help save JR's life and eat this way, we had to do it as a family. And we knew about the strength and the support that comes from family. So just like I've got my family and my extended family, I also have my second family, the guys at the firehouse. And it's incredible how close you can get to somebody when you go charging into a burning fire and you know that they've got your back or you've got their back. And the bond is something that is pretty powerful. So we had all those things working in our favor to drop the burgers and the pizza and all the other awful things. And so we hadn't done it yet, but we're thinking about it. So I'm going to take you to a whole new place, all right? Now, this is Will Ferrell from the movie Elf, right? Who here can tell me the 4 major food groups of the Christmas Elf? Shout them out. You can just shout them out. Remember, maple syrup, candy canes, candy corn. Who said that? Can you come up here? I got a prize for you. I'm serious. I encourage audience participation, and you get rewarded, all right? Let's see, what do I have for you? Oh, here you go. You are the winner of an Engine 2 sustainable grocery bag. All right, maybe we'll get some more participants now. So, exactly. Now, let's go back to Austin, Texas. What are the 4 major food groups of the Austin, Texas firefighter? Anybody have any ideas? All right, let's go through them. First thing is cheese pizza. Preferably double cheese, double meat. Next, we got big old honkin' cheeseburgers, preferably about a pound. And then you want to have the cheese and of course, the bacon. You want to have the mayo. It's got to be white buns. And then you have to have a little bit of lettuce on the bottom. And then we have something there called fajitas. You ever heard of fajitas? Well, we love I shouldn't say, but Texas firefighters love their fajitas. All right? And then, of course, the last major food group of a Texas firefighter. No, Bluebell ice cream. Bluebell ice cream. And actually, we have a tradition. There's a tradition in the Austin firefighter. Your first day as a firefighter, when you go to your new station, you have to bring a tub of Bluebell ice cream. And I kid you not. So, I would like to submit to you that what a Christmas elf eats and what a Texas firefighter eats is no better for you than the standard American diet, what 99% of Americans are eating today. Of course, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this pie, but we're going to do a quick review here. 51% is coming from refined processed foods that have no nutrient value whatsoever. White bread, white rice, white pasta, cooks, chips, soda pop. You got the idea. The other 42% is coming from animal-based products and animal byproducts. So anything that, as I guess Dr. McDougall would say, anything that paws a hoof, wiggles a fin, paws a hoof, closes a clam, or flaps a wing. Exactly. If it has muscle, it basically has what I like to call the demonic trinity, all right? The demonic trinity. So it's got artery clogging saturated fat, it's got plaque promoting dietary cholesterol, and it's got the tumor and cancer promoting animal protein. The demonic trinity. And then a measly 7% coming from plant-based sources, and half of that's coming from French fries. And what this has in it, though, what our whole food, nutrient-rich, plant-based sources have, is the Holy Trinity. So we've got the phytochemicals, we have the antioxidants, and we have the fiber. Now, the Engine 2 diet, the one that I am a big fan of, Joel, Jeff, basically 4 major food groups. Your fruits, your vegetables. What people need to know is there's more than just apples and oranges and bananas out there when it comes to fruits. When it comes to vegetables, there's more than just, iceberg lettuce and broccoli. There are hundreds and hundreds of different fruits and vegetables. Same thing with whole grains. There's more than just brown rice. You've got your millet, your quinoa, your couscous. Couscous isn't really a grain, I guess. And then you've got your wheat berries. You've got your pearl barley. You go to Whole Foods, for example, and you go to the bin section there, the bulk section, and I bet you'd find 40 different types of whole grains. And then, of course, you've got your legumes, your beans, and your peas. So this is basically our 4 major food groups. And then, of course, we supplement this with some nuts and seeds. And so this is basically the diet that I put these guys on at Fire Station 2. And now, how did I get a bunch of Texas male firefighters to do this? Well, I took the 4 major food groups, and I gave them all a healthy twist. So we're doing a whole grain pizza without any cheese, and we put so many vegetables on it, it weighs about 5 pounds. And then we do a healthy black bean oatmeal burger, and we do it with baked sweet potato fries, and we do it with beans that aren't floating in butter or oil. We do portobello mushroom fajitas with a great barbecue sauce, and we do it with all the fixins. You can see we got the brown rice, we got the bell peppers and the onions, we have the no-fat refried beans. And then, of course, we do all this, instead of doing it on flour tortillas, we do everything pretty much exclusively on corn tortillas. Corn are the cleanest out there. And then instead of doing the Bluebell ice cream, we do wonderful mousses like this with some fresh fruit on top. So this is what we put JR. Actually, I challenged JR to do this for 3 weeks initially. And in 3 weeks, this is what happened. JR's number, he went from 344 to 196. So he dropped almost 150 points. And his weight dropped 12 pounds. And all the guys at the station jumped on board. And we got these amazing results. And the local newspaper kind of caught wind of what we were doing at Fire Station 2, and this article was written, "Tofu Outmuscles Red Meat at Firehouse." Firefighters went vegetarian after one found out his diet was as serious as a heart attack. And before long, we had NPR called. We did a little segment on the national NPR, and then the New York Times did an article, and then Time actually even did something recently, and they referred to the Engine 2 diet. They actually reviewed 4 different diets for 2009, and Engine 2, they said, was the cheapest by far. So I want to let you know that you can eat this way, and you can eat like a peasant and live like a king. And it can be very, very cheap. And you don't have to buy all organic. There's probably certain foods that are best to eat organic, and you can go to find the list of the Dirty Dozen, but for the most part, you can eat this way for under $250 a month, depending upon what you're eating and if you don't want to get too extravagant. And we got all this attention all because a bunch of Texas firefighters were doing something as crazy as trying to eat healthy foods. So the Fantastic Four, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes. Bananas, a good call for a post-workout snack. Eat your greens for calcium. I'm sure a lot of you know, but I think it needs repeating, that the best absorbable forms of calcium come from leafy greens and beans, right? They don't come from dairy products. Dairy products leach the calcium from our bones, and we're lucky if we're absorbing 2% of that calcium. Whereas with leafy greens, you're absorbing about 40 to 50, 60% of that calcium. And it's kind of crazy that the countries that are the biggest consumers of dairy also have the highest incidence of osteoporosis: the United States, New Zealand, Great Britain, Norway, and Sweden. 911, only you can prevent the call. And I can't emphasize enough how you have to take control of your health. You can't blame it on your genetics. You can't blame it on your friends. You can't blame it on your doctor. You got to put the blame squarely on your own shoulders. So, once again, I'm going to ask, is health a choice? Yes, it is. Absolutely it is. And so I came to this realization that, I can probably help and save a lot more people by writing a book than I ever can by being a firefighter, or just being a firefighter with my firefighting regala outfit on. And so I went about writing this book. It took me about 2 years to write, and I also wanted to show that eating this way worked outside the confines of the fire station. So I recruited 65 people from Austin, Texas, to take the 4-week Engine 2 challenge. And I gave them the option of doing 2 programs. The first was the Fire Cadet, which is basically it's a wean, where they eliminate the offending foods a week at a time. Depending upon your personality, I wanted people to have a choice. And then the Firefighter, you jump in from day 1 and you abstain from all the offending foods. So week 1, and it's kind of a little faded out here, but that's supposed to be a bottle of milk there. We're abstaining from all dairy, right? All dairy. Dairy, milk is basically liquid flesh. Cheese is probably the greatest source of saturated fat in the diet. And once again, we have the what? Demonic Trinity that's in all these, okay? We also staying away from the refined and processed foods. Week 2, we're staying away from all flesh, okay? So whether it's red meat, whether it's chickens, even cute ones like that one. We're staying away from the other white meat and fish as well. Fish has been getting a lot of attention for its healthy omega-3 fatty acids, but if you don't get a fish that's been tainted with mercury or PCBs or dioxins, you still get one that has the what?
Demonic Trinity.
Thank you very much. The demonic Trinity. It's still got the animal fat, the animal cholesterol, and the animal protein in it. And then eggs. What are the two things that are wrong with eggs?
Yolk and the white.
The yolk and the white. Exactly. I think somebody has to put a cork on you for now. That's right. The yolk has over 212 milligrams of dietary cholesterol in it, and the white is an incredible concentrated source of animal protein. So, and then week 3, we're eliminating all of the extracted oils, okay? And for those of you that are trying to hang on to your oils, that means olive oil, it means canola oil, safflower oil, grapeseed, extra virgin, and even the extra virgin cold-pressed olive oil. Okay, we're saying goodbye. And people want to know why. We have an America that's close to 70% overweight. It has really no nutrient value to speak of, and it's 120 calories per tablespoon. And it's right around 15% artery clogging saturated fat. So we don't need it. We can substitute. When you stir fry, you can use veggie broth, you can use carrot juice, orange juice, you can use water, wine, beer. When you bake, you need something else to take the place, the moisture. It can be applesauce, it can be bananas, prunes. So just to drive home this point, who can tell me what this is? It's a label. Yes, it is a label of what? All right. So here we go. 120 calories from fat. As you can see here, it's 15% saturated fat. And let's look at the vitamins and the minerals here. You see anything here besides goose eggs? Goose egg everywhere there. And that is, of course, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. All right? Now, so I put these 65 people on the diet for 4 weeks, and the results were phenomenal. The average weight loss for the men was 14 pounds. The average weight loss for the women was 8 pounds. We had an average total cholesterol drop of 40%, an average LDL, which is the what? LDL is the what? The lethal, right? The bad. Drop of 30%. And then, of course, we had, migraine headaches that vanished, acne that cleared up, IBS, diverticulitis, all these things that basically just kind of disappeared. So I'm going to share with you some of the results. This is Ramiro Zapata. And Ramiro is a 28-year veteran in the fire department. And you can see he lost 16 pounds. His cholesterol dropped from 232 to 142, 90 points. And his LDL went from 142 to 77. And the two magic numbers that I talk about in my book are, we want to get that total cholesterol below 150 and that LDL below 180. And then you're basically heart attack proof, and you're not laying down any more new deposits, plaque deposits, and you're reversing what you currently have. And Ramiro was interesting because when I talked to everybody throughout the whole process, and I said, he said, hey, this might be tough for me, Rip, because I want you to know that right now the only vegetables I eat are beans. And I said, Ramiro, buddy, I got to tell you something. Beans aren't a vegetable. And he said, oh, brother, I got a lot of work to do. But he hit the nail on the head, and he rocked and rolled. This is one of my prize bulls. This is Tim Bosma. And Tim lost 33 pounds in 4 weeks. And his cholesterol went from 174 to 93. And his LDL went from 104 to 44. And I had 3 people whose cholesterol levels came down below 100. And Tim's was one of them. And one of the things that I asked every one of the participants to do was keep a food log, because it's so important as far as you developing a relationship with food and becoming really, really aware of what you're putting in your mouth day in and day out. And so I would review everybody's food log at night so I could send them back feedback. And Tim one night, under desserts, he put watermelon, and then he put in parentheses, the whole thing. But that's the wonderful thing about eating this way, is we're taking the current model, the current paradigm, and we're turning it upside down. So instead of eating these foods that are calorie rich and nutrient light, we're eating foods now that predominantly are calorie light and nutrient rich. And it's a wonderful way to eat because it's sustainable and it's permanent, and you're not ever starving yourself. This is Drew Corbin. Drew, before he joined the fire department, was an airborne Army Ranger. And that's the telltale sign right there. And he was a mess when he came to me, an absolute mess. And his cholesterol dropped down to 121 from 220. His weight dropped 25 pounds, and his triglycerides came down from over 400 down to about 120. And the reason I have him is he looks like a completely different man, doesn't he? And look at the bags under his eyes. I mean, he just looks ill. And here he looks just so healthy and vibrant. And he told me that over the course of the 4 weeks, he had at least 50 people that said, what are you doing? You look absolutely incredible. This is another one of my prize bulls, and I have to share this story with you. This is James Gary. And James, in 2004, was the captain of the University of Colorado football team. And he joined the Austin Fire Department in 2006. And he did a rotation through Station 2. And we stayed up all night talking about diet and nutrition. And he was telling me how, and he weighs 300 pounds here, 300 pounds. When he came to the fire department, he was 270. And I said, well, how in the world did you keep up that weight? And he said, well, every lunch, 5 days out of the week, I went to Arby's, and I had 5 Arby melts. That's a type of big old cheeseburger they have. I had 2 large curly fries, and I had a large Coke. And then he said throughout the day I would drink at least a gallon of milk. And of course, he had breakfast and dinner. And so we talked all night long, and by the time it was when it was time to leave, he said, all right, Rip, he said, I'm going to try your stupid diet for 28 days. And he's been doing it ever since. And this is him at 300 still. This is him at 300. And this is him now. All right? Now this next picture, I have to warn you, this next picture is a little risque, so if you want to turn your heads, you can. All right? No way? All right. There he is, 218 pounds, cholesterol 111. All right. He's very proud of that. His knees love it, and his wife loves him a lot more too. No, that was not. That was a girlfriend back in Colorado. Yeah, good question. So let's go from one hot body to another hot body. This is Fire Captain Jim Ryan, and Jim came to me about 4 months ago because after his annual physical with the fire department, his cholesterol came back and it was 285. And he's like, how can that be? He said, I'm a vegetarian, and I'm also one of the fittest people in the fire department, and the last 3 years in a row, I've competed in the Hawaii Ironman Triathlon. And I said, well, your body doesn't burn off the demonic trinity, right? And he was stuffing his face with the cheese and the butter and the creams and all that stuff. And he was, when you're training that much, he felt that because he was training that much, it gave him the right to eat whatever he wanted. Well, we know that's not the case. So he's got a type A personality, and literally, he was just so amazing at following, everything to a T. And in 3 weeks, I said, let's do it in 4 weeks. Let's get your cholesterol tested again. He goes, no, I want to do it in 3. I go, okay, let's do it in 3. And his cholesterol came down from 285 to 156, and his LDL came down from 195 down to 91 in 3 weeks. So he's now a much happier Ironman triathlete. It's normally with audiences, by now they're starting to all get that, yes, health is a choice. So, it does, doesn't it? So one of the things I always get is, well, how is your diet any different being vegetarian or vegan? And obviously, if you're a vegetarian, you continue to eat, dairy out the wazoo. You do the cheese, and you do the butter and the creams. And of course, you do the milk. If you're a vegan, we all know you can be a vegan and be a junk food vegan and do the jelly beans and the French fries and the oil like crazy and the white bread and the white pasta, and you're still a vegan. So, to me, plant strong, the best descriptor is a whole food, nutrient-rich, plant-based diet. And another question people ask me, well, how is your diet any different than your father's diet? And I say, well, my dad is all about plant perfection, and I'm about being plant strong. I'm like, I'm not going to kick you out of the club if you're not 100% perfect. Engine 2, being plant strong, we embrace everybody, okay? If you happen to be wearing a leather belt, we're not going to kick you out of the club. If you happen to eat a little bit of cheese, we're not going to kick you out of the club. And remember that first graph that we had, where Americans are now only eating roughly 3% of their foods from these, whole food plant-based sources. We want that pendulum to swing the other way. And so now they're eating 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% from these whole food plant-based sources. So you know what I think it's time for? I think it's time for a volunteer. Let's see. I need a volunteer. How about you? Right there. Come on up. Nope, the little kid. Come on. Are you bored? What's that? Yes? That's a shame. So, hold on a sec. Hello? So, why are you here tonight?
My mom brought me.
Now, did she bring you or did she drag you here?
She dragged me.
Where did she drag you from? Texas. That's a long way to be dragged. All right. Well, so what do you think about all this, eating this way? Does it make sense to you?
A little bit.
A little bit. All right. How old are you?
12.
Okay. Well, we're going to work on you. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to break this banana in half with our bare hands, okay? This is a little trick. Now, what we're going to do, like this, right? I want you to hold both ends. And then we're going to get a little drum roll from the audience, and then we're going to get a countdown, okay? From 5 down to 1. And then after 1, I want you to go apart and forward as hard and as fast as you can, and you're going to break this thing with your bare hands, okay? Apart and forward. So if we can get a drum roll. Now a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I just have one question for you. Who is plant strong and who is not plant strong? But that's good because you got a lot of work to do. All right? A lot of improvement. All right. Thank you very much. Anybody who know who this is? That's right. That is Lance Armstrong. He's looking ferocious there because he's going after his 8th Tour de France victory. Now, I want you to know that when you start to eat this way, you're going to have on your Superman cape because people are going to try and beat you down and tell you all the reasons why this is the stupidest thing in the world. And I want to share a couple stories with you. One, there was a female firefighter that did the Engine 2 pilot study with me, and she said that she got more crap from the firefighters at the fire station for eating this way than she ever did being a female. And she said that with almost tears in her eyes. So it's no joke that you're going to be doing this in a society that wants you to fail and doesn't want you to succeed eating this way. So you have to be determined as all get out. All right? This is how determined you have to be. You see that peak up there? That's called El Pico, and it's on the Sierra del Carmen mountain range in Mexico. And this right here is Big Bend, and it's in West Texas. And in 1992, I set out to get to the top of that. I was told that nobody had been to the top of El Pico. And so a buddy of mine and me, we spent 4 years trying to get to the top of El Pico. 4 years. We went 3 times a year because, believe it or not, trying to navigate up here, find trails, going through the bushes. There's no water, so you have to carry all your own water. Each gallon of water is 8 pounds. So usually we were able to go for 2 or 3 days at a time. And we finally made it to the top. And we had to, on one of our expeditions there, we determined that we needed to get an expert climber to put in pins and ropes and all that stuff. And so in 1995, we finally got to the top, and here's that picture of me on the top. Right? And so that, you see, that is how badly you got to want to take your health into your own hands and eat these plant-strong foods. That's it right there. Look at that. See what I had to get up to get there? Does that look brutal? It absolutely was. Now, I'm not going to go to him yet. I want to read you something. This is a letter, an email that I got the other day, and I think it's kind of fun. My wife's and my results have inspired folks to give the Engine 2 diet a try. And I've had to warn them that they are going to be surprised how many scientist friends they have that they didn't even know about. It's amazing, really. I never heard a word of concern when somebody saw me eat my 5th piece of pizza after polishing off a plate of wings and a few beers. However, one word that I'm holding off on meat and lowering my fat intake, and they come out of the woodwork. They all seem to have kept their non-science office jobs, but suddenly they're evolutionary biologists talking about the shape of my teeth, proving our omnivorous lineage, dietitians concerned about the exact percentage of my calories coming from protein, and biochemists who suddenly are worried about the details of my blood work. My advice, smile. Thank them for the advice and ignore them, like they ignored you when you were eating crap that was killing you. Then give them first dibs on your clothes before you take them to Goodwill because they're too big for you. So who's this again? Who do you think it was? W.C. Fields. Yeah. It's Winston Churchill. And he has another quote. You're going to get some Winston Churchill quotes tonight. He has another quote that I love, and it is, never, 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 never give up. All right? And that's the kind of attitude I want you guys to have about your health and eating this way. Exercise. Anybody see this? The front of Time last month? The myth about exercise. Of course it's good for you, but it won't make you lose weight. Why? It's what you eat that really counts. And as we saw earlier with Jim Ryan, the Hawaii Ironman triathlete, the problem with exercise for most people is they feel that they can go out and do their 40-minute run or lift weights, and then it gives them the right to eat whatever they want, right? Full license to go hog wild. And to me, that's about as stupid as going for a run and then smoking a cigarette afterwards. However, I'm a huge, huge fan of exercise. And there's a quote that Jack LaLanne has, and I've just kind of turned it around, and that is, eating plant strong is king, exercise is queen. Combine the two, and you have a what?
Kingdom.
A health kingdom. A health kingdom. You have to let other people answer. Exactly. And I have a whole section in the book on exercise. No free weights necessary, no gym memberships, all body weight strength exercises. And you know what I think it's time for now, if you guys don't mind? If everybody wouldn't mind standing up. I know you're going to. Let's just kind of shake it out a little bit. All right? This is what we're going to do. We're just going to do some arm circles, okay? So let's go 10 forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And backwards in unison. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to get fancy, and you got to watch out so you don't hit the person that's next to you. Ready? And this also is going to test not only how plant strong you are, but how coordinated you are. So we're going to go forward with the right arm, and we're going to go back with the left. All right? Oh, Joel. Forward with one, back with the other. There you go. There you go. You guys can work on that one. Okay, now, if there was more room, I'd love to do a lot more things, but I think that because of the space, we're kind of limited, hey? So, thank you for that. And let's, there's a lot of myths out there that, you can't get big eating this way, and where am I going to get my protein? But we know full well that the biggest land animals on the planet eat plants. They get all the essential amino acids and all the unessential amino acids they need, whether it's the bull, right? Whether it's the zebra, the hippo, the giraffes, the big old elephants. And then, of course, whether it's this little darling here, this is Sophie. And you can't answer this, and Joel and Jeff can't answer this, but what percentage protein is your mother's breast milk? We have a very educated audience, yes. About 4.8% protein at a time when you're doubling in size and growing faster than any other point in your life. So when we as human beings, we only need roughly between 4 to 8% of our calories from protein. And as long as you're getting enough calories in your diet, you will, rest assured, get all the protein you need. You can't be an athlete and eat this way. Another big old fallacy. This was my hero before I got into triathlons. Who knows who this is? Dave Scott, 6-time winner of the Hawaii Ironman Triathlon. Anybody know how old Dave is in this picture here? 99. No. Dave is 40 there. He's 40 years old there. And this was my first year doing the Hawaii Ironman Triathlon. This was 1994. And I led the race out of the water. I led until about mile 40 on the bike when I was passed by no other than my hero and my mentor, Dave Scott. And Dave ended up getting second that year at age 40, and he ran a 2:51 marathon. After a 2.5-mile ocean swim, 112-mile bike, and then a marathon in the scorching 100-plus degree heat. And then you guys heard of Edwin Moses? 122 hurdle victories in a row, almost a decade. Plant strong. Carl Lewis, after being with John McDougall on a radio show, John talked him into eating all plant-based. And so he was eating plant-based before he set the world record in Tokyo in 1991 in the 100-meter dash and in the long jump. And then, of course, Martina Navratilova, the winningest tennis player on the planet. Andreas Kalling, vegan bodybuilder. And then we also hear the myth that real men eat meat. And I think we all know that real men actually eat plants. Real men eat plants. We know that some of the first arteries to start getting clogged up are the arteries down to the penis. Right? Everybody all right there? And oh, okay. And it's very funny because one shift after work, I had to travel to another fire station, and this big old guy, he's 6'6", and we're both walking out to our trucks. I have this very, very little Toyota pickup truck, and he's got this 2-ton diesel, tires up to here. He has to, put up a ladder to get into the thing. And he's walking out with his Wranglers and his cowboy hat, and he goes, "Hey, Rip, I used to have a little pickup truck like yours." And I said, "Oh, really? What happened?" "Fed her some meat." But literally, that's the kind of attitude you're dealing with. But I want to show you a little video of a real man at Fire Station 2 that eats plants. All right, these are doing something called Spidey push-ups. Sorry about that. You got to get it in when you can, Okay, so you know what it's time for? It's time for a little Plant Strong Family Feud. I need 5 men and 5 women volunteers. All right? If I got to come out there, I will and pick you. What's that? Okay, yeah, that would be great. Come on. We need 5. Okay, why don't you? 5 women. Come on. Now, this is the first time for this, so, bear with me a little bit here. Now, you guys, okay, so we need to go one woman against one man. You're going to ring a bell. You're going to ring this bell here, okay, if you know the answer. So, you and you, okay? What is your name? Peter? Peter? Mar. Okay, what brings you here tonight? Okay. All right. How about this weekend? What brings you here this weekend?
Get healthy.
All right. I like that. So, can you guys see that okay? Maybe we need to bring this out here. All right. Now, this is the way it's going to work. I'm going to show something up on the screen. All right? And then first person to ring the bell gets to answer the question. Gets to answer the question. And then if you don't answer it right, we're going to go to you. And then if you don't answer it right, everybody here can work on it together. All right? So face off. Let's go. Face off. Now, I want you to be able to look at the screen. Get ready to ring that bell. My question to you is, what leafy green vegetable is this?
Romaine.
Red tip romaine. Very good. All right. And tell me this, what is so important about leafy greens?
Your calcium
Yeah.
and just all kinds of vitamins. Lots of vitamins and minerals.
I think it's fair to say that the leafy greens are the superheroes of all foods. Would you agree with that, Joel? Okay, now if you guys could go to the back of the line, we're going to get the next two.
You're supposed to kiss them.
I know, you're absolutely right. I'm absolutely right. Okay, now, ready? Now, I'm not sure what this next slide is going to be of yet, so let's see. Okay, here's my question. Now, get ready here. What is the shelf life of a Twinkie? No. Let's go women first on that one.
It never decomposes. It lasts forever.
Oh, no, incorrect.
30 years.
Oh. Tell you what, women, gather and see if you can come up with an answer. You guys might want to do it too, because I know they're not going to get it. Okay, time's up. Who's going to report?
10 years.
10 years.
They don't have any life in them.
Okay, well, you know what? The actual shelf life of a Twinkie is 2 weeks. Okay? You go to any store and you turn it over and look at the date stamp, and it will be 2 weeks maximum from that day. Now, yes, it may be able to live forever at your shelves at home, but that's the date stamp. So no points for anybody on that one. All right, who's next? All right, ready? Come on, ready? Oh, there's the answer, 2 weeks, okay. With a lot of flash. All right, ready? Let's see. Okay, here's my question, get ready. What NFL player is this that went plant-based after reading Colin Campbell's The China Study, right? He played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then now he plays for the Atlanta Falcons, and last year he set the record for receptions by a tight end. Okay, would you guys like to confer?
I think we need to confer.
He
We know it.
and you do?
We know it. Prince Fielder.
That's baseball.
I got a great team working for me.
Who told you Prince Fielder?
I don't know.
No, I did hear that Prince Fielder, who actually is a great home run hitter, went plant-based after reading Skinny Bitch. I did hear that.
Don't we get points for that? At least we came up with a player. If they don't
Maybe.
get nothing-
You guys got anything? Oh, man. Okay. Anybody out there want to say? There we go. He just came out with a book, came out yesterday, The All-Pro Diet. Although he does push a little bit of fish. All right. So next. All right. Okay, ready? You might want to look at the screen. So here's my question. Cannellini beans, right? What kind of beans are they? I know it says that, but there's something else. What kind of beans are they?
White beans.
Ooh, she's half right. She said white beans. You know what? We're gonna take that. They're white kidney beans. Okay. Next. Okay. All right. Get ready. Let's see what we got here. Okay. What is this? What product is it? 1 cup, 120 calories. Calories from fat, 40. What product is that? I think we need Jeff up here. Well, and let me say that, but preface this with, this is why it's so important to read labels, And you know Jeff Novick's 2 rules of thumb. Does everybody know Jeff's 2 rules of thumb? Number 1 is never, ever believe the claim on the outside of a package or box. And number 2, read the nutritional label and follow that up by reading the ingredients. So, what do you think it is?
I'm going to say yogurt.
Yogurt. Okay. No. How about you? Having a clue. Okay. Why don't you confer, and let's see if we can figure it out.
Milk.
Okay, time's up. Got to keep this show moving. Okay, they both have said it's milk. They both have said it's milk, right? They both have said it's milk, but what percentage milk? 2%. I think we're going to go with the women on that one, okay? 2%. 2%, all right? Now, of course, most Americans think 2% milk is 2% fat. But as you can see here, they go by weight and not by calories, and it's a nice way of fooling us. 25%? Oh, really? No, I think that's 1%, not 2%. And then whole milk is about 51%. Yeah. So, okay, next. Now, this we're going to need you guys to vote. So this is what's going to happen. You have to say, Cookie Monster want kale like the Cookie Monster. And whoever does it better gets the point. And the audience is going to vote. So you have to say, like the Cookie Monster, that.
Cookie Monster want kale.
Come on. Try and beat her.
Cookie Monster on kale.
I've never seen the show.
All right. Is that
Watch it off
now? So, could you guys tell who was the bigger clap for? The guy. All right. Next. We only have a couple more. So, what do we have here?
Pam.
Olive oil Pam spray. Exactly. Right. Olive oil Pam spray. And now, stay up here. Let's do another one. I'm going to ask you a question. In the largest Pam spray bottle they have, how many serving sizes are there? 400? 1,400. 702. All right? That's, again, why it's so important to read the labels. Read the labels and know how many servings are in each container. Okay, next. Next, come on. Nope. Okay, what do we got?
Baby broccoli.
Baby broccoli.
Broccoli.
That I think we're going to give it to her. It's broccolini. All right? Yeah, broccolini. All right? Another one of our leafy greens. There's so many great cruciferous leafy greens out there. You need to explore that world. Okay. What's another name for garbanzo beans? Chickpeas. Okay, ready? Next. All right. What do we got? I'm sorry, you got to be faster. Yep. Yes, anise or fennel. Okay, next. Got to keep this show going. Let's go. All right, now, what is the difference between lemons and limes?
One's yellow, one's green. That is one difference.
Well, that is one difference. You're right. Okay, another is taste, all right? Another is color, but this is what we're looking for. What do you think? There's one more. Oh, somebody just couldn't help themselves. Right. Limes are sterile. All right? Limes don't have seeds. Yes. So if you don't want to mess with seeds, you can do the lime.
Okay, I got one of them.
Okay. Yes, you did. Okay.
Did she apply for that viewing on I got one? No, good point. I got one out of three.
I don't think so. Sorry.
Half a point.
Okay. What are we looking at here? Yes. Broccoli?
Spinach.
Spinach. Very nice. You guys see this is 51% protein. It's got some fat in it. Look at all that vitamin A. Look at all that vitamin C, iron, calcium. Right? That's spinach. Wonderful. Okay, great. Okay, next. What's that?
Cilantro.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not.
That's parsley. That looks like parsley.
Yeah.
It's broadleaf parsley.
Italian parsley.
Oh, it's Italian parsley.
Very nice. It's Italian parsley. Yes. Okay. Let's come on. Who's next? Get ready. Okay, now, once again, we have to do the imitation. I know. Okay, time for your best Yoda.
How to say those words?
You have to say those words. Say those words like Yoda would.
I don't know how he talks.
You don't know how he talks. Will you go first then?
Do or do not. There is no try.
No, you have to give it a shot.
Do or do not, there is no try.
If you remember that scene, Yoda is trying to teach Luke Skywalker how to be a Jedi Knight, and he says, you must unlearn everything you have learned. And then Luke says, well, I guess I'll try. And that's when he says, try not. Do or do not. There is no try. Yes. Okay. Same way with eating this way. Just, you got to do it. Don't try. Just do it. Okay. Go. Okay. Come on. Let's go. Ready? Okay. What do we got? Ready? What do we got? Shard? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm going kale. Kale. We're going to give the guys, yep. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Ready? Here's the question. Whoop. All right. The question is, how many teaspoons of sugar are in this large Coke from Burger King?
16?
16? No.
22.
Ooh, we're going to give it to the guys. It's 20.5. And now, does everybody know how we got that? Basically, you go here, right, and you divide it by 4. There's 4 grams in 1 teaspoon. Is that right, Jeff? Okay. All right. 20.5. Oopsie. Now, next. Okay, you guys, now we're going to get a little personal here, all right? Now, here's my question to you. All right? How many times a day do you poop?
3.
We have a tie here. Yes, if you eat plant-strong, plant-based, instead of getting a measly 5 to 15 grams of fiber a day, you're getting about 50 to 60, and you should be pooping 3 to 5 times a day. No, that's a cow patty. All right. Thank you very much for indulging me with that. Yes. That was one big old experiment there. Thank you. You know what? Yeah, who won?
Well, it was a half-point difference because I
Okay. Then the women can get their Engine 2 sustainable grocery bags afterwards, okay? So Let's talk a little bit about the recipes that that are in the book. They're not a bunch of frou-frou recipes that people don't know about. They're very, very delicious ones. This is the first recipe in the book. It's the big bowl, and it's 3 kinds of different cereals, milk substitute, 3 fruits. This cornmeal pancakes with blueberries and bananas. Migas especiales, right? On what kind of tortillas? Corn, yes, corn. Open-faced hummus sandwiches with cilantro, parsley, green onions. And then, of course, we do either tomatoes or cucumbers. Here's a lightly blanched kale with some lemon pepper, actual lemon slices, and then cilantro and hummus. These are some panini sandwiches with hummus and avocado. The hummus actually turns in, it almost kind of becomes like a cheese. And then we do baby spinach and bell peppers. And that is an Ezekiel Food for Life bread. This is a oatmeal black bean burger. These are some green leafy wraps that are sliced up to be like nori rolls. This is a polenta pizza with a bunch of vegetables. The light from the screen doesn't do it justice. Here we have gnocchi in a nice marinara sauce. You know what that is. But one of the things I have in the book, I have nine different dinner categories, and there are a lot of familiar foods just with a healthy twist. So we have pizza night, we have pasta night, we have burger night, we have a Tex-Mex night where we have enchiladas and burritos. There's the enchiladas. We have comfort food night. We've got wonderful meatless meatloaves. We have shepherd's pies. We have dinner plates with pasta and sweet potatoes and broccoli with a nice nut sauce on top. This is black beans extravaganza. This is, I'd say I have this at least twice a week. It's incredibly simple, but very delicious. It's just brown rice, black beans, with a medley of different vegetables on top with a little bit of tamari. We have soup night. We have wonderful different hearty soups from Cole's cauliflower to a wonderful lentil. At the fire station, we usually like to start every meal with a big old salad, and this is one of the roasted vegetable salads here. You can see the Brussels sprouts, and there's potatoes and onions. This is a avocado watermelon salad. For desserts, we do not deprive ourselves. We do fruit salads. We do date nut crushed fruit pies. We also do them with a wonderful chocolate mousse inside as well. And then we do whole grain dark chocolate chip cookies that will steal the eye right out of your head. I think that it's safe to say, and I hope everybody knows, that diets are dead. Diets don't work. As long as you're depriving yourself of calories and counting calories, it's just not sustainable, and it's not going to happen. So the South Beach diet and Atkins really should be things of the past. And people need to know that eating meat and eating dairy and eating processed and refined foods is just as insidious and just as destructive for your health as smoking cigarettes. And that's why we need to have this new movement, this new paradigm in eating, where we are eating these calorie-light, nutrient-rich, plant-based foods. Does everybody know what this is? That's a healthy artery, exactly. That's a healthy artery. And this red right here, this is the endothelium, which my father loves using the term endothelium and endothelial cells a whole bunch. And the degree to which you can keep that endothelium and the endothelial cells pumping out nitric oxide is really the degree to which you can keep those the silky lining of your 60,000 miles of arteries, capillaries, and vessels nice and healthy and slick like Teflon instead of being sticky like Velcro. And it will basically will repel away the plaque formations. So I want you to see the number one killer of Americans is what? Heart disease. And I want you to watch. This is basically in time-lapse photography what happens to the average artery over the span of 20, 30, 40 years. Watch this. Right? And so it's basically all that wonderful endothelium has shriveled up and it's basically rotted out, and now we have all kinds of calcification and scar tissue, and fatty deposits and cholesterol. But this doesn't have to be. And if you eat a plant-based diet, you can keep those arteries nice and red and rosy and healthy until the day you die. Does everybody know what this is? Exactly. Right? And I believe Breast Cancer Awareness Month is going on right now. I don't know about you guys, but everywhere I turn, I'm seeing, this, and I'm saying, walk for the cure, run for the cure, shop for the cure, fly for the cure. And I'm just like, hey, where is eat for the cure? And more than that, eating plant-based is the cure, right? It's like we're looking for this cure, and the cure is out there. I feel like the little boy that said, hey, the emperor's not wearing clothes. It's like you want to say, hey, we have the answer, we have the cure, and this is what it is. And the evidence is absolutely irrefutable that we can absolutely eradicate heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and all the other major chronic Western diseases in one fell swoop. Well, there'll be other industries that'll pop up. All right, but you're right about that. So, we're getting near the end here. If you don't want the equivalent of a Jiffy Pop popcorn smoke detector watching over your health, right, by eating the standard American diet, I would recommend that you start eating a plant-strong diet, and now you have the holy trinity, right? Washing over your body, you have the phytochemicals, you have the fiber, you have the antioxidants that are going to keep you bulletproof from Western disease. And then you all know the answer, yes, health is a choice. And who's this again? Churchill. Now, Winston Churchill has another quote that I love, and it goes like this: America always gets it right, but only after they've tried everything else. And you can see that this guy, Winston Churchill, was a man of incredible foresight and a visionary, because he was saying, hey, the answer is engine 2. I do want to say that I have just partnered up with Whole Foods to do some very, very exciting stuff. Whole Foods is very adamant in trying to get America to eat much more of a plant-centric diet. And so I will be partnering with them to come out with a line of Engine 2 strong food products. And we'll probably come out with 50 different products in about 9 months for the first wave. And then I also am going to be consulting with Whole Foods to develop Engine 2 lifestyle teams and Engine 2 supper clubs at all the Whole Foods, wherever there's a Whole Food. There's over 300 of them. And so for anybody that's looking for support and guidance or as you eat this way, inquire at your local Whole Foods and join in. And this will be unveiled and rolled out in the beginning of 2010. And for anybody that wants more information, I have a website, engine2academy.com, where I have downloadable recipes. I have grocery lists, meal plans. We have a nice forum, a nice active community. And I also have all the exercises. I have videos of all the exercises, all the stretches, and then, of course, 3 rounds of 4 different exercises. So you can see the proper form. So this is how I'm going to leave you. This is how I'm going to leave you. We have a guy at Station 2 that is not into any kind of kumbaya kind of stuff. And, sometimes we get excited and we hug each other. We give each other really big bear hugs, man hugs. And this guy has gotten to the point where he said, if you hug me again, I'll kill you. And so what we've done is we've come up with the Engine 2 hand hug. And I'm not going to ask you to massage your partner, but I am going to ask you to give whoever you're next to a little Engine 2 hand hug. And I've got a video of what it looks like. All right? This is the Engine 2 hand hug. Actually, this is not it. This is not it. It's coming up.
Can you show me a hand hug? Can you show me a hand hug? Can you show me a hand hug?
So, Jeff, come here. Give me a hand hug. Nope, there you go. So it's got to be straight up and down, and then you go. I want to see hand hugs, please. It's actually rather intimate. There you go. All right. Yeah. So that is all that I have. Thank you so much for allowing me to be the keynote tonight.